Samsung fans, hold on to your phones. We finally have our first official look at the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, and it's nothing like anyone expected. A leaked promotional poster just dropped, showing Samsung's next flagship in full purple glory. And right away, the design tells you this is a major shift from the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Those familiar. Chunky individual camera rings on the back? Gone. Samsung has completely reimagined the camera layout with a unified camera module that looks cleaner, more modern, and far more premium than anything we've seen on an Ultra before. But the design changes don't stop there. The S Pen is getting its biggest redesign since the Galaxy Note era. The frame is thinner and lighter, and Samsung is finally moving away from that sharp, boxy Note-style look we've had for years. In this video, I'm breaking down everything we know so far about the Galaxy S26 Ultra from these official leaks. The new camera design, real camera improvements, the S Pen sacrifices Samsung is making for the new shape, and how it all compares directly to the Galaxy S25 Ultra. If you're thinking about upgrading in 2026, you'll want to watch this till the end. Let's start with the biggest change. The camera design for several generations now. The Ultra models have used 3 separate camera lenses floating on the back, each surrounded by thick black rings. That look has basically defined Samsung's premium phones for years, but it was starting to feel a bit tired. The Galaxy S26 Ultra finally changes that instead of 3 isolated circles. The S26 Ultra brings back a unified camera module but in a completely new way. It's not just a flat rectangle stuck on the back. This is a 3-tier pill-shaped bump that houses the main camera, the ultra-wide, and the primary telephoto lens in a single vertical unit. The thick black rings around each lens are completely gone in their place. You get a smooth, integrated design that looks far more intentional and high-end. To the right of this main module, you'll still find the 3x telephoto lens, the LED flash, and additional sensors. But even these are laid out more cleanly than before, so the entire back looks less cluttered and more cohesive. This isn't just a cosmetic update either. A well-known tipster on X claims that the 200-megapixel main camera on the Galaxy S26 Ultra will deliver dramatically better sky photography. If you've used the S25 Ultra, you might have seen ugly banding, strange gradients, or extra noise when you tried to capture skies or sunsets. According to the leak, the S26 Ultra is specifically tuned to fix those issues. That means smoother skies, more natural gradients, and much cleaner images in outdoor shots, which is a big deal because sky photos and landscape shots are some of the most common pictures people take on a phone. Now, let's talk colors, because Samsung is clearly treating the S26 Ultra as a style statement. Leaks say Samsung is planning 6 color options for the Galaxy S26 Ultra. One of the most interesting ones is a new white model. It's being described as very white and pure white, not creamy, not off-white, but a crisp, clean shade that really stands out. If you've ever liked white phones but felt they always look slightly gray or yellowish, this might be one of the cleanest looking white Galaxy phones Samsung has ever made. But the biggest visual shift isn't the color. It's the overall shape of the phone. For years, the Ultra line has carried that Galaxy Note identity. Sharp corners, flat top and bottom, and that big boxy footprint. It made the Ultra feel powerful and serious, but not necessarily the most comfortable phone to hold. The Galaxy S26 Ultra changes that formula. The corners are now noticeably more rounded, and the overall frame follows a more curved, softer design language. In the hand, it should feel much more ergonomic and less aggressive than previous Ultra models. On paper, the dimensions tell the same story. The S26 Ultra is 7.9 millimeters thick, which makes it 0.3 millimeters thinner than the S25 Ultra. It also drops about 4 grams, coming in at 214 grams. That doesn't sound like a lot, but combine a thinner body with slightly less weight and more rounded corners, and you're likely getting a much more comfortable daily device. There's a catch, though. The S26 Ultra is slightly taller and wider. So while it's slimmer and lighter, the footprint is a bit larger overall. And here's another interesting detail. Leaks suggest Samsung is stepping away from titanium on the Galaxy S26 Ultra after heavily marketing titanium on the S24 Ultra. This is a pretty bold change. It looks like Samsung is prioritizing weight, ergonomics, and design language over just sticking with premium materials for the spec sheet. Now, let's get into one of the most important parts of the Ultra identity, the S Pen. The S Pen started as the defining feature of the Galaxy Note series, with advanced features like Bluetooth and Air Actions. You could wave it around to control music, snap photos remotely, and trigger shortcuts, but with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, Samsung quietly removed the Bluetooth features, turning the S Pen back into more of a traditional stylus focused on writing, sketching, and precise touch input. The Galaxy S26 Ultra takes another big step. For the first time ever, the S Pen gets an arc-shaped press and release button at the top. Instead of a flat, straight clicker, the head of the S Pen now has a curved profile that lines up perfectly with the new rounded corners and softer edges of the phone itself. Visually, it looks cleaner and more organic with the new design. Practically, it also means Samsung had to redesign the S Pen's proportions. Leaks suggest that while the S Pen keeps roughly the same height, the top press and release button is now slightly reduced in width or length. Overall, the S Pen is getting narrower compared to the S25 Ultra's version. That might sound like a small tweak, but it changes how the S Pen feels in the hand. For quick notes, it'll probably be fine or even better, because it matches the phone more naturally. But if you're the kind of person who uses the S Pen for long note-taking sessions, drawing, or editing, a thinner stylus might feel less comfortable and more fatiguing over time. So yes, the new S Pen looks cleaner and matches the S26 Ultra's design better, but it does come with a trade-off in terms of grip and comfort. We'll have to wait for real-world hands-on tests to know how big that trade-off is. Now let's put the Galaxy S26 Ultra head-to-head with the Galaxy S25 Ultra in a bit more detail. From the front, the two phones look very similar at first glance. Big edge-to-edge displays, a centered punch-hole selfie camera, and super thin bezels. But on closer inspection, there are a few key differences. First, the selfie camera cutout on the S26 Ultra appears slightly larger. That strongly hints at an upgraded front-facing camera, either with a bigger sensor, a wider aperture, or improved autofocus. We don't have exact specs yet, but Samsung doesn't make that cutout bigger without a reason. Second, the bezels around the display look a bit thinner on the S26 Ultra. It's subtle, but it gives you a more immersive viewing experience and makes the phone feel a bit more futuristic when the screen is on. And third, those new rounded corners become very obvious when you compare both devices side by side. The S25 Ultra sticks to that sharp, squared-off note-inspired design. The S26 Ultra looks softer, more modern, and more approachable. On the sides, the layout is familiar. The left side stays clean. The right side still holds the power button and volume rocker in the same positions. So there's no learning curve. There, on the bottom edge, you still got the USB port, speaker grill, and the S Pen slot. Functionally, nothing dramatic is changing there. The difference is in the way the frame itself is shaped. Instead of flat, straight sides, the S26 Ultra's frame follows the rounded design language, which should help the phone feel smoother and more comfortable when you're gripping it.